The last principle I want to teach related to ongoing revelation and sustaining modern prophets is this principle that prophets are authorized agents. Now that might seem obvious, but sometimes it isn't. I one time, when I was serving in a bishopric, extended a calling to a member of the church, and the member in my ward asked me, they said, "Brother Sweat, is this calling from you or is this calling from God?" And I said, "Well, I'll be honest." I said something like this. I'll be honest and straightforward with you. You know, we deliberated as a bishopric and we talked about various names that we felt could fit this calling. We prayed before the meeting started. Your name came up as someone that we felt would be ideal to fit the calling. And then as a bishopric, we unitedly agreed that we should extend the calling to you. And we all felt good about it. But I said, but we didn't hear a voice from God. We didn't see an angel. We didn't have, something appear in a vision. That was how we made the decision. And so I said something to her like, so acting in our authority, which we feel God recognizes, we are extending this calling from us on behalf of the Lord. Now that's a great, and to this member's credit, they accepted the calling and accepted the explanation. I think that helps a little bit when sometimes back to when I started this video with our maps, I do believe that Jesus is leading this church through clear revelations to his authorized servants, the prophets. I do believe they see him when necessary. I do believe they have visions. I do believe they hear voices. I do believe the veil is rent. I do believe that they are led in the same revelatory power and pattern as all prophets have been in the past. However, I don't believe that every single decision made, every single action done is by the veil being rent or Jesus appearing or speaking audible words from heaven. The Lord has invested and imbued and empowered his agents with keys to act in his name. They know his general will. Now it's their job to go bring it about. When you think about that word agency, agency means you have the power, and it's not just the power to choose. Agency is also the power to represent. The power to represent somebody. If I hired an agent, if I was a musician or an athlete, or my agent would go out and represent my will, help procure contracts or do things and bring them back to me and say, does this please you? Etc. But they would have power to act independently. In section 128, verse 9 of the Doctrine and Covenants, Joseph Smith teaches what I simply like to call the bold doctrine. He says this, quote, "It may seem to some to be a very bold doctrine that we talk of, a power which records or binds on earth and binds in heaven. Hence, whatsoever those men did in authority, in the name of the Lord, and did it truly and faithfully, and kept a proper and faithful record of the same, it became a law on earth and in heaven, and could not be annulled according to the decrees of the great Jehovah. This is a faithful saying. Who can hear it?" That is a powerful verse. My interpretation of what Joseph Smith seems to be teaching is when somebody holds the prophetic keys to bind on earth and in heaven, to govern the kingdom of God, that whatever decision they make, and they follow those principles, they do it in their prophetic authority, they do it truly and faithfully, trying to bring about the Lord's will, they keep a record of it, it becomes a law. Prophets can create law that becomes binding on those in that time to bring about the purposes of the Lord. Joseph says, this is a faithful saying. Who can hear it? Well, some people can't. Some people think that that might be too much power. Remember, prophets have been proven through a lifetime of faithfulness. They have checks and balances, and the Lord is directing and guiding if they feel like what they're implementing will not bring to pass his purposes as a whole.